You done with MMC?
Yeah, you know me.
You done with MMC?
Yeah, you know me.
You done with MMC?
Yeah, you know me.
Today, we got an awesome topic for you guys today. So, we have this thing going around where everybody thinks that Christians are boring. And let me tell y'all, okay, from 3 Christian perspectives, that we are not boring, okay? We are fun people. Are we fun people, y'all?
I mean, it depends on your definition of fun.
I love to sing my hymns. It's my favorite thing
You
to
don't
do.
get some flack for that one. But these are the reasons why we're just going to discuss how Christianity can be fun. It's not all about rules and following them and just, living life to just not have fun. But you can enjoy yourself as well. So listen and enjoy.
I think one of the...
And now the soothing voices of...
Oh my god.
And now the soothing voices.
Just go.
Okay. I think that it's just, it's interesting. Like, a lot of people, including myself, growing up, I used to believe that to be an appropriate or a proper Christian, I have to be, as a woman, very meek and docile. And I wear skirts to my ankles. And that kind of screwed up my perspective of how I should be as a Christian, too. So when I did come into my Christian faith, I struggled a lot with wordiness as a Christian because I thought I was supposed to be a specific way, when in reality I'm very opinionated, loud, and very loud, and other things that really don't really fit the perspective of a Christian woman. And as I grew up and went into my faith, I realized that a lot of the perspective, American Christianity, where you're supposed to be a certain way and present yourself a certain way to be attributed to being godly. And yeah, that's my opinion.
I don't know. I feel like being fun really depends on the person that's hearing it. Like, I feel like in my walk with Christ, I had a lot of fun, but my fun consisted of, I thought it was fun to go to Bible study. I thought it was fun to go to school and sit in the courtyard and open our Bibles and talk about it, go back and forth and go to Christian Fellowship Club, after school program or in college or whatever. And I felt like those things were fun for me. But if you took a person off the street and put them in those same activities,
2 drinks. I don't believe in smoking. I don't believe in getting drunk. That is wrong.
So judgmental.
But I believe everything in moderation and still living along the lines that God has given you, but in a way that you can express yourself is what's most important that people do not understand. Because just like the other one said about her being a pig.
But in a sense of like it being fun, I think that that stuff, like what she said, like that stuff eventually became fun to me. Like, cause on the outside looking in, you're right. Like my BC days, like seeing things like that was not fun to me. Oh y'all sitting in
a courtyard,
reading your Bible.
Remember our bench?
And I think there was a transition that happened in me to want to be a part of God, and that's why that stuff became fun to me. And granted, it didn't like me going into that didn't mean that it took away the things that I used to do that I thought was fun, like dancing. I'm not much of a smoker or a drinker, so it was mainly just like
lightweight.
Going out. It was mainly about like just going out, having fun with people, and they might be drinking and doing their thing, but I'm kind of vibing alongside with them.
But you vibing with Jesus.
But I'm vibing with
they
Jesus.
know where you stand.
The Lord Christ God. And that stuff, like I said, that stuff became fun to me, became interesting. But also what made it more fun was I was able to maintain who I was while inviting Jesus Christ there and having him be with me and seeing that he's accepting of me. And I realized that I was trying to force Christian fun onto me, when in reality I should have just brought me, and then whatever was supposed to happen, the manifestation that was supposed to happen to me was gonna happen, kind of thing.
I have a question, because you had said something about, you said when you desired to get close to God, you became, like, you found it fun. Like, you found those activities, like reading your Bible at school with your friends or whatever. You found those kind of things fun.
Right.
But my question is, now that we're older, because, when we were in college, those type of things were fun to us. But now that we're older, we like to do, we still enjoy that stuff, but we do a lot less. And we would be like, let's go out. Let's go dance. Let's go have a drink. And so would you say that now that you're, I don't know if that's the right word, but I'm going to say it anyway, you'll get what I'm trying to say. But now that you're farther from God than you were then, would that be what's pushing you to do those things, like drink and go out, like desire those things more?
Yes. I think that me going out more now, or let's get a drink more now, I think a part of it is part of me being away from God. But I also think that there's like a social construct of how a Christian is supposed to be. And granted, the things like going out and having a drink, the reason why they say those things are bad is because of what's associated with it. Not that it is necessarily bad, but the association. Granted that there's that, but I think that because for me, it's associated socially as something negative, it hinders my faith. I think that because it's bad for me, in a way, quote unquote, then that in turn will hinder your faith. Like in the word, it does say,
if you believe,
if you, like, for example, don't eat, if you have a brother and you're eating something in front of them and they think it's wrong, but they're doing it because they see you doing it, it hinders their faith.
Yeah.
And and the blame falls on you.
Yeah.
And I think that in a way that's correlated to my own situation where I'm farther from God, so I do these things more. Do I inherently overall think that me going dancing is a bad thing? No. When I go dancing, I don't sit there and grind up on pop it on every single person that I see.
Lock, and drop it. We don't do that.
We don't do it. If anything, I'm always dancing with my girls. That's who I stay dancing with. I don't dance with men. I barely even talk to men. If a guy comes up to me and it's like, "Skirt, I'm sorry, are you a man of God?" But I don't say that in the club. But I don't actively. That's not something I actually say, obviously. But I go there to have fun with my girls. But I do know that if someone from my church walks by and they see me turn into honeys or something like that, be like, "Is that AJP? Is that LJP?" I would feel some sort of shame.
Yeah.
I would feel shame from that, even though I know that it's not bad, but because social constructions of how Christians are supposed to be and act in America is like, that in a way that kind of pushes me, like, am I really being the Christian I'm supposed to be?
And it's funny that you say that because, like I said, I'm in the middle ground, so I've always been in the type where I don't really care what people think of how I am, but I do care about my reputation as a Christian.
Yeah.
However, I do believe that there is a fine line between, like, caring so much about how other Christians see you and not really putting yourself in a place where people who are not Christians can see you as well.
Yeah.
And I'm in this place where I'm able to do, like, I found, like, I don't know if it's like my niche, but I can be around people who are not Christians and still be Christian. And they know where I stand and how I am, that even if another Christian comes and sees me in that place where I'm not supposedly, air quote, supposed to be, whether it's a bar, whether it's a club, whether it's a restaurant, or I'm just like with people who don't look like they're the type of people I should be hanging out with.
Yeah.
I'm still able to, they still know where I stand, and my Christian faith is not hindered in that sense, only because I know that I'm here for a reason, to be an example, I guess you could say, for these people. So it's not necessarily, I can't agree with you where I say I could feel like my faith is hindered because, or like, because I feel like I'm further or something like that, and that's what drives me to go do these things. But it's more like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's more like that. Like, I just know that it's not an issue for me to whether I'm further from God or not is what drives me to do these things. But like these things has always been there, and I'm able to take that step to do that. Go there.
I can say that I admire that because for me, the way I was, not to say I was raised, but I was always the good girl. I was always the one who was like the perfect child, the one that parents wanted their kids to be like, the one that was like, oh, even until now I still have that pressure. And so for me to be that kid, and I felt like as I got older I tried to shake it, and so at a certain point in life I did go into a time where all I wanted to do was rebel.
Yeah.
I just wanted to not go to not go to church, but just not do what everybody had expected me to do, because I was just tired of being a good girl and whatever that meant to people. And for a long time I held on to that as like a source of pride, but then it became hindering to me because I found that I don't know what that was. It became hindering to me because I found that I did not allow myself to be myself. Like, I just did what would look good in front of people, and it really hindered me in my faith as well, because I felt like I could even sin, and if I did sin I would just hide it from God as if he didn't know and things like that, until, you know, God had to literally confront me and be like, if you waiting to clean yourself up before you come to me, then you don't need me. And and so the thing is, as I got older, I have a lot more grace for myself.
Right.
And so me going to a club, like you said, I don't find that as a sin for me. I feel like I can go out with my girls and have fun with you guys, or even with my boyfriend and have fun with him, because I'm not being promiscuous. I'm not drinking till I don't know what's going on.
Fiance,
I mean.
Yeah.
Hey, my girl getting married. Hey.
But yeah, I feel like I can go to these things with him or you guys, and it's not an issue personally. But if someone from church saw me, that would weigh heavily on me, because I feel like I'd be ruining my witness.
Yeah.
If I went out, if this same person saw me at the club dancing, and I went out on the street and started talking about Jesus, they'd be like, girl, now you know, like, you a hypocrite. You will lie, you whatever, you this. But the thing is, when you break down, it's just like not scenarios you want to be caught having fun in, even though it's not wrong.
But I want to say something to that extent, in the sense, like, I get it. There's certain people, I don't want to say there's certain people you want to keep things from, but it's kind of what you said, where you don't want to hinder other people's faith.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's in the sense, like, I'm never going to, if I'm with you, I'm never going to put you in that situation. But I know the people I'm with, and I know how, and if I know what your vices are, or the things that make you weaker, or things that make you fall, of course I'm going to take that into consideration.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to ever say that, or make it seem as if I'm the perfect person, like, oh, I've never gone to a club, so you should never go either. I think people have this notion of Christians, like, okay, there's no good at a club. There's no good at a bar. There's no good at this place. There's no good at that place. Mm-hmm. And even when it comes to whether it's TV shows or books or writings or whatever it is, there's this, like, if you do break that vision of that person, then everything, like, all hell breaks loose. Like, oh my gosh, but you just need to be aware. So that's like the caveat I think everybody needs to understand, is that I don't want to say it's like you're hiding yourself from them, but I think as long as you're honest and don't put them in that situation, that I feel like I lost my
Well, but I see what you're trying to say. So, but here's the thing, like, you don't know where, like I think you said it, you don't know where their walk is.
Yeah.
So them seeing you at a club, even though you are not doing anything, them simply seeing you there is a
would become an issue.
Is a tripping stone, or tripping stone, I don't know what it's called. A stumbling block.
Yeah.
There you go. It's a stumbling block for them, because they probably came from the club where they were drinking, where they were smoking, where they were having sex with random people and grinding up on every single person, and then seeing you, this like, woman of God, this man of God, being there, be like, oh, I guess I can still love God and do these things. Yeah. But you're not doing it in the same manner they were doing from it.
Yeah.
or they're doing it.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the stumbling, and that's why for me, I wouldn't want to be caught going to Honey's or something like that.
But do you understand the situation here, though?
Okay.
It becomes a place where it looks like you're hiding.
You are hiding.
But that's the problem. That makes you a hypocrite if you're hiding.
You're right. And I guess I am a hypocrite. But the thing about it is, honestly, frankly, I'm not there to do bad things. I feel like it would, you know what? I take that back. I'm not a hypocrite. Because I don't do the things that are associated with clubbing except dancing. I'm dancing to the music and I'm dancing with my girls. But I'm not there in the Christian context, smoking, drinking, grinding up on every single person.
Going home with guys.
I'm not doing those things. And I think in a whole, then it sounds like I would have to separate, like in the whole of that, the circle, I'd have to take a pie out of this is what I'm doing, but this is what actually is the bad thing.
Yeah.
You know, I have to take that out. And I think that's where it becomes an issue. Like the whole thing, everything associated with it is bad. The majority of it is bad. So all of it must be bad.
Yeah. That's usually how it is viewed in America.
The thing is, like, there is a verse in the Bible that, of course, the Bible tells you not to sin. Mm-hmm. But the Bible also tells you to stay away from the appearance of sin.
Yeah.
That is a verse in the Bible.
Yeah.
And so, although I find going out with my girls and having fun, I find that enjoyable. However, that is at the back of my head, because what's the difference between me going out with my friends to have fun, but knowing that between us, we're not doing anything wrong, and me living with my fiance, not having sex with him, but we're under the same roof, but we're not doing anything wrong.
Yeah.
But we're living in the same house.
Yeah.
The thing is, when people see you, they see that. What comes with living with your fiance is y'all probably having sex. When Chloe going to the club, oh no, there's no way they're real Christians because they're involved in this. And clubbing is like one of the main things people throw out there when they get saved. I don't club anymore. Or Christians who go to the club are bad. Like, and it's like, it has such a connotation and stereotype behind it that it would literally mess up your witness.
It would.
You would not be able to, if a large crowd of people saw you, you would not be able to go out there and be like, oh yeah, come to Jesus. And the person's like, girl, last Saturday I seen you. Girl, I could do this. Like, it's very different.
Imagine if you saw Benny Hinn
at the club.
At like, what's the King of Diamonds, bro? Benny Hinn at King of Diamonds.
That's a strip club.
First of all,
that's different.
Okay, what's the strip club? King, Power. I don't know. The Truth. What? The Truth Club. Say you saw Benny Hinn at the Truth Club.
Is it a Christian club?
No. What? And then on the Sunday pulpit, ask you for his money, because you know he loved asking for money. Asking you for his money.
And you gonna be
like he just ruined his witness.
Yeah.
So
he wants to draw some more?
Even if he was just sitting there breakdancing with his fellows. Because at the club, we see there are guys who just go there just to dance.
Yeah, they're by themselves.
They're with their boys. The boys are cheering them on, and they're just breakdancing. But you're still at the club. you know?
I think you do that on the street.
I think that's where most of my conviction comes from. It comes from the fact that if God never put in that part of staying away from the appearance of sin or being a stumbling block for other Christians, it probably wouldn't bother me as much as it just being like, dang, it's really for people. Like, as much as we don't want it to be for people, it literally is for people. And out of love for God, out of your love for people, that would overflow.
But, and I know, like I keep saying, like I'm still in the middle ground about this, only because, like I said, I'm more of the one who, I don't want to say I take on the appearance of sin, but the people I hang out with sometimes, they look questionable, all right? I ain't gonna lie to y'all, okay? They look questionable, but I know their hearts.
Yeah.
They're not bad people. They're just people who do bad.
I think that's different, though.
Yeah, that
Jesus hung out with people where everybody hated. They're liars.
But again, the masses saw that and they still called him a hypocrite. But it doesn't mean that he was still participating in the things that those people were doing. It doesn't mean that he was a sinner as well, or that.
Okay. Let's break this down. Let's break this down. Jesus was a man that he went into where the whores were. He went into where the I'm guessing drug users were and things like that.
Yeah.
He probably went into a couple of clubs, you know. So if you like say, you know, let's put it in perspective of 2019, you know,
You went to the house of a sinner.
you see your pastor going into the club, and that's all you see. You just see the image of him going into a club.
That's it, yeah.
That's all you see.
I'm
Because
leaving the church.
it's like
Exactly.
them seeing Jesus go into the tax collector's house to eat dinner.
Yes.
It's the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
But here's the difference. He's going in there to change someone's life.
And how are we not changing
We're going in
somebody's
there
life?
just to dance.
No, it is.
That's
different.
the difference.
I know, I'm just saying though.
It's different.
But the person who sees you does not know that. But I'm not saying like it is like that point, but again, think about it. If they're just seeing you from afar, they don't know what you're doing there.
They don't.
They cannot just go and make an assumption like, oh my gosh.
I remember
But
there's assumptions where like even like someone was I saw from Justice League. It was Justice League. They said it's a saying that will always stay in my mind for as long as I can remember.
Why are you touching me?
Believe in half of what you see and none of what you hear. For as long as I can remember that saying, and I was like dumb as hell, bro, back then. So I even know why that stuck in my head. And ever since then, so like if I ever saw a man going into a club, say he's dressed very properly, it's my pastor going to the club, dressed in his tux, because of who he presents himself at church, I question that. Like my faith, me and my faith and where I am in my faith, it goes farther than just what I see. Like, of course I would ask him, hey, so you at the club? You know, how was that? And you know, it can, and I believe that the Holy Spirit will give me the ability to discern whether or not he was really there to dance and do his thing, or if he was really there, he's like, I'm trying to reach people who are in the club. And I think that I don't see the point where I was going. There was no point. I don't know what the point
there was a point.
There was a point.
But I think
lost
it's
it.
more that, like you said, believe in half of what you see and
None
none
of
of
what
what
you
you hear. Is that you can't necessarily judge or attribute what it looks like to what is actually going on. And this is a long podcast, yo. Dang.
Just talk, bro.
But all I'm gonna say is, like I said, it's a caveat. I think it's dependent upon person, because there are certain gifts that the Holy Spirit gives to people that, you know, they can be in the midst of sinners and change their lives, and other people can't. Some people can go to the club and, you know, not be tempted or anything, and some people can't. So don't just enjoy the discussion. This is more of a talk, and we'd like to hear what you guys think about everything that was said from the beginning to the end. Leave your comments below and leave lots of comments. We'd love to hear what other things to talk about. And we are outie. MMC, yeah, you know me.